And for the last show of the year, we are delighted to be joined by the head coach of the URI golf team, Gregg Burke. Greg, thanks so much for coming on. Hope you're doing well. Happy holidays. And thanks so much for doing this.
Happy holidays to you, your entire family, your beautiful new bride, and especially Dad.
Yeah, absolutely. So awesome. So I wanted to have you on yesterday, Wednesday. You guys announced the Devon Quigley Courage Award that you guys are establishing, obviously in honor of Devon Quigley, who passed away at the age of 39 back in October. I thought it was really awesome. We did an article up about it. You can check that out on GolfNewsRI.com with the links to make a charitable donation or a gift, whatever it may be. But obviously the award's about Devon Quigley. Greg, I know you were close with him. You wrote a great piece that you allowed us to run. But just talk about how this award kind of came to be. What was the process for sort of kind of putting this together for yourself? And obviously the Quigley family was a part of it. But what was that process like, and how did this come to be?
Well, it's actually something I had thought of for a very, very long time.
Oh.
My first year as head coach, I actually made Devon captain. He had already had the accident. He had graduated, and I made him captain because I saw early. I was fortunate enough to go spend time with Dev and Charlotte in Florida the March after it happened, and I saw a lot of what Devon was going through, what his spirits were. And then as time went on, when he came back to Rhode Island a little bit more after he was at the trauma center in Florida, I spent a bunch of time and really got to be close with Charlotte, who was probably the best mom that ever walked the face of the earth, and really got to see what Devon was doing. It's easy in these situations, Joe, to see, well, the doctors are doing this, the therapists are doing this. Charlotte, Dana, Angie, Nicole, for sure, doing this. That's very obvious to us. But you have to take the next step and see what was Devon doing through all this. And that kid was fighting every day. He never gave up. He was ceaseless in teasing me, which I will miss terribly. But when I saw the way Devon reacted to all these things, it struck me that we needed an award in his name.
And so the awards will be given to obviously somebody who's in the URI golf community, who has the courage and to shows the fight to go through illness or whatever it may be. It's interesting that I was interested in the word community because it doesn't necessarily have to be a player on the team. I mean, obviously it can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody on the team necessarily. It just has to be somebody kind of in the URI golf circle. Is that correct? I thought the word community was interesting. That's all.
Yeah, it's purposeful. URI Golf could not exist without a much larger community. We have tremendous support from people on campus who do little things to touch us during the year, and some people that touch us every day. We have tremendous donors and supporters who help us run the program. We're largely dependent on fundraise money and not state money to survive. So we have all those folks. And there's other people in the community like yourself, Bobby Ward at the RIGA, Joe K, official, works on tournaments and things. So the URI golf community embraces a lot of people who have embraced us.
Awesome. Now, do you guys have a plan to roll out the first award winner? Is there gonna be big gala, big ceremony, big announcement? What's the rollout for it?
Well, that's another good question. I certainly have written down some names of folks. Actually, a pretty healthy list of folks that are well deserved to carry Devon's name. Some have passed, but fought the good fight, and some are fought a fight and survived and thriving. And some are fighting fights now. So I have a good list of folks. I'm certainly not going to make an announcement without talking to Dana and Charlotte and Nicole. They're the ones that really. I'll tell them what I would like to do and wait for their approval. That's how the process will work.
Would Devon have laughed at you for making an award in his name? Would he have teased you about it?
Yeah, Devon would. He'd kill me. But Devon was. There's so many stories about the way Devon and I interacted. Devon teased me a lot when I was a sport administrator. I would never coach Devon, but I traveled the team as a sport administrator, and Devon was just that guy that he he was unceasing as the waves Narragansett Pier and teasing me, even through all his illness. When his communication skills were not as formidable as they used to be, his ability to say yes or no, or make a sound or laugh at something about me was it's something I'll genuinely miss. But he was a humble guy. You know what? If I say anything about Dev that really stuck out, and this was coming from a sport administrator, I was the deputy athletic director at that time, but I'd worked with Michigan football and Big East basketball and coaches like Bo Schembecker, Mark Duffner, Pete Gillen, Rick Barnes. There were a lot of, I'd been around the block with experience. And the thing I noticed most about Dev was he was a team guy. He was the life of the party, but in a good way, not in a crazy way, to rally the troops, to do things together. But then on the course, he was an assassin. I spoke at his memorial after he passed at Crestwood, and I said one of the things I like most about watching Devon play, I was just kind of drawn to watch him play, is that I got to see every inch of the golf course because he did it left, right, he did it all over the place. And that little bugger, I swear to gosh, he'd be in the parking lot in someone's glove compartment with the windows locked, and he'd get up and down. So. He was a team guy, and that's why an award in his name will speak to a larger sense than just one kid that fought the good fight.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome when you texted me the press release. I thought it was awesome. I put it up, a little bit later that night, Wednesday night, and so that's the Devon Quigley Courage Award. Any links people need to donate or to make a charitable gift can be found on GolfNewsRI.com at the bottom of the article. But obviously, it's in honor of Devon Quigley, who was greatly missed by many in the Rhode Island golf community, obviously including yourself and many others. I know my friend Eugene DeSaro misses him badly as well. So obviously tough situations, but obviously a tough number of years for him. And he's as I think Eugene said, he's in a better place now. Obviously, he's released from the daily pains and the suffering that he had to go through from that accident.
Yeah, Eugene was the unofficial godfather to Devon and the golf team during that time, and I came as they were becoming juniors and seniors. So we'll just leave it at the fact that they couldn't have a better godfather, and trust me, it was needed. The charitable part, quite honestly, comes from Dana. That is nothing we prompted. Dana, as Dana always does, thinks of other people first. When this happened, when he first passed, I was speaking with Dana, and he said that he would like to have some kind of charitable donation to URI Golf. The PGA Tour is on board with a donation, and so this is not. I don't want anyone to think this is some kind of fundraising activity. We included that because Dana wanted to see it, and I've talked to probably 40 or 50 people since this has come out in the past 24 hours. I'm telling everyone the same thing. I just want to see a nice list of people who loved and appreciated Dev, and whether they gave 5 cents or $500 or $5 million, that doesn't matter at this particular time. This is about honoring Devon, and if people want to, if they're so inclined to honor him this way, then we're happy to use the funds to. The funds we get from this will be used to help give other young players the same experiences Dev had at URI, and I don't think there can be a better testament to Devon's life than that.
Awesome. That's awesome stuff. Again, all the information is on GolfNewsRI.com, and obviously anything we can do to continue to help spread the word for the award, obviously with us having you on the podcast or articles, whatever, we'll obviously do that to help out. And obviously we're big supporters of URI golf and college golf in general. So yeah, so that's awesome. But let's get into some of those young people, if you don't mind, that you were talking about. And we'll start with, only because he's in the news, playing down at Doral. Two big recruits that you have coming in next year that you're excited about, Tyler Bruno and Luke Stennett. Tyler won the medalist honors at the Adamonis Cup down in Doral on Wednesday. He's playing well again today. As we tape this, I think he's in the middle of his round or perhaps just finishing his round. And then obviously Luke Stennett is having a good run as well. But you're really excited about these guys. You're really excited about these next two kind of recruiting classes, including this year's freshmen. Just talk about Just talk about your excitement for this. I know we've talked before privately, and I know you're pumped for these recruiting classes.
I am. We have 3 great recruiting classes, but the last 2 are easily the best back-to-back recruited classes in over 20 years. Back to the days when the Spitz brothers were there, Jesse Larson, Sim Salinetti, JT, and guys like that. So they're loaded. If you go by rankings, they far outrank anything we've had in a long, long time. Tyler, he played great in the Adamonis Cup, the New England versus Florida 12-on-12 format, and he was a medalist there. He didn't play so well today compared to what he did last year. To tell how good he was, Joe, last year, Tyler in this tournament at Doral, which is one of the biggest junior tournaments in the country, was the low American. It's a great international field, as you know well.
Yeah.
He was the low American in the whole tournament. So he's got great game. Probably should have won the Challenge Cup World Series of Golf at Triggs, and just stumbled down the stretch a little bit. But you always want to see him win, but I like to see him learn. So I think he learned something from that as well. And Luke is a special talent. Luke has been given a number of gifts, physically and emotionally, to propel himself to be a golfer. He's 2-time state champion in Connecticut. He was probably headed for another school until we got involved. And it's strange. I feel very close to Luke already. My recruiting talks with him were more about family stuff than golf stuff, believe it or not. And he is, there's a lot of guys say, oh, I can hit it 320. Oh, I can hit it 325. If they really jack one out there, Luke can hit it 340, 350. He is a special talent. He's got the perfect demeanor for it. He's maybe the most appreciative, kind, genuine, sweet kid we've ever had here. He's going to be terrific. And then you referenced the 4 freshmen we have now. Tony Liu comes from China by way of IMG. Oh my gosh, he is a top 5, 6, or 7 golf talent in the history of URI golf, and he's starting to prove it already. His future is limitless in golf. Big, strong, 6'2", 205 pounds, 210 pounds. Excellent athlete on top of all that, and he's going to be a superstar. Not good, a superstar. And then Josiah Tong, very different in some ways. Great athlete. Was actually an internationally rated badminton player in Canada. Just can't get enough badminton players in college golf. But Josiah, he's got this focus and desire to be better that you just don't see. He's very analytical. He doesn't have all the shots yet. He's going to bring the ball down a little bit. He'll put on 25, 30 pounds in the next 2 years with us to our strength and conditioning program, and get tremendous mobility strength. But Josiah's got a chance to play pro golf as well. And with those 2 and the 2 freshmen coming in, we believe we'll have an announcement coming soon. As you know, I can't talk about people that haven't signed, but we'll have an announcement soon of another addition to the team that will be spectacular. And we're still involved with another under the radar superstar that could be coming next year as well. So things are going very, very well. We're very, very pleased, and a lot of it goes to our structure, but it all goes to the boys. I always say when we recruit a young man, first you learn our culture, then you're part of our culture, and then you improve our culture. And we've had that with the kind of people we've had in the program. It's more about their work ethic, their desire to succeed, in the discipline umbrella they serve under with what we do, and that's why we built the program.
Well, I think what's cool about Josiah and Tony was they came in and you pretty much threw the brand into the fire, figuratively speaking. They played kind of right away. It felt like Tony was named A10 Rookie of the Week one of the weeks. They both have had decent finishes in tournaments, so that's going to be helpful in the long run too. They don't have to sometimes you see in other sports, especially maybe not so much in golf, but in other sports, you see that freshmen sit on the bench or they're scratches from the lineup, but you kind of threw them right into the fire and said, okay, here you go, figure it out, which I thought was kind of neat and will help them. I would imagine going forward.
Well, they deserved it. They earned it. As when it comes to lineups, some players probably think I'm a Grinch. There's no gifts in the lineup. They have to earn it. And Bryson Richards, who won the Vermont AM 2 the last 3 years, and our #1 player, ranked 210th, 211th in the country right now, has such a terrible back spasms he can't even put his own socks on. So for 2 weeks he's out. We talked about resting him, but I said, if you want to go and you can't go, just stop during the round. And you have to know Bryson. He said, let's try it. Well, he won the next 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
And then Tony emerged as a strong runner-up to Bryson. Was in the mix at one of the tournaments to win it. And then Josiah, as I said a minute ago, Josiah's got a special gift of focus and attention to detail, and he's going to find his way to be the best he can. And then after that, we've got Aiden O'Donovan from Boston area and Geronimo Narizano from Argentina. We're hoping they're both very, very talented. We're hoping to get really good, strong, a 4th score out of those guys in tournaments in the spring. We'll be in pretty good shape. But it's all reference back to what we talked about the freshmen, is that we're going to lose just 8 next year. So we're going to have a lot of returnees who have a lot of experience.
Yeah, and talk about Bryson for a minute. Like you said, he won the back-to-back tournaments. It was a pretty incredible run. And how much has he meant to the URI program, and whether it's leadership, or obviously his great golf is atop the list, but how much has he meant to the URI golf program over the last couple of years?
Well, I mentioned ratings before. Bryson wasn't really highly rated. He's from, I was a kid, he's from the North Pole. He's from East Montpelier, Vermont, and played in a lot of stuff, but didn't play a great national schedule, played a terrific regional schedule. When he was much younger, he played in some the kids club stuff in the South, overseas a little bit, but he didn't play the schedule that these great players with whom he's competing now played. And like I said, he wasn't highly rated. He's left-handed. No one wants a left-hander on the team because they all think different. But I went to see him play once and fell in love with the way he was playing. He's got some athletic chops. First time I went to see him, he knew we were interested, and I knew they were interested in us, and I drove 4.5 hours to see him playing some godforsaken tournament, the Vermont Juniors or something. And when I got there, he was hole high, short-sided. The green was 30 feet above him. He was dead. Phil Mickelson wasn't going to get anywhere near that. So he looked over at me and he kind of smiled, and I said to myself, and I actually said to him later, I drove 4.5 hours to hit this shot, and he steps it, hits it to 6 inches. And the fact he had that little wry smile and knew he could do it, I was done. He was going to be with us. He probably, if he didn't put so much pressure on himself first semester last year, he would have been made the NCAAs as an individual. He's won 5 tournaments for us, Joe. I haven't done the research yet because some of the records are spotty, but there's not many players at URI ever that have won 5 tournaments in the tournament age. He's also on the verge of being a 3-time All-American scholar. We've never had someone do that before. He's a leader by example. He's a grinder. He always wants to get out there to play and practice. And this time of year, we can't be with him more than 8 hours a week. So Bryson's off at PJ or North Kingston or some of the other places we get to play, and just grinding every single day. So he's going to be sorely, sorely missed, well beyond just the scores he gives us.
And what's going into the spring season? Obviously, it's still a few months away. Unfortunately, it's pretty cold out now. But and you talked about a little bit with getting that 4th score. But what are some of the challenges or the goals that you have for the spring season? What's kind of the challenges for you guys coming up this spring season?
Well, we start off in mid-March. We go down to Myrtle Beach and play in a terrific tournament there. It's tough for us because we're trying to get the rust off. We have the opportunity. We hit indoors in a hitting barn here at URI. One of our donors and his wife donated 2 TrackMan to us, so that's a huge help to what we do. But still, you got to play outside. We don't get to do that 30 days before the tournament, although we do get out enough. And then we sit down there for a day or 2 for more training. And then on the way back, we played a tournament called the Carpetbagger in Maryland, which we've been very, very fortunate to win the last 2 years. And so that's good for us. It's not as good a field as the first tournament, but it's a fun golf course, and we beat a lot of good teams. So we actually had to stave off Bryant last year. Bryant got
Yep.
red hot
I remember that. Yep.
in the first part of the second round. We were up 6 or 8 going into the final round, and Bryant came storming back for a while, and we probably just discovered that Charlie was dressed as one of the Bryant players. That's why they're doing so well. But we were fortunate enough to have a great finish by a couple of guys making a bunch of birdies on the stretch, and we held on. And then this year we're going to go to a place called Cutter Creek. We went to last year. Tremendous field, hosted by Eastern Carolina. Great golf course. We played in 40-mile-an-hour winds last year, and didn't do our best, but we grew from that experience. And now that we know the golf course, we'll be a lot better at trying to make a move down there. After that, we come back, Joe. We're doing something I've never done. I've become good friends with the Drexel coach. We talked about doing just a one team versus the other in some kind of match play or Ryder Cup format. And he took the idea, and now we're gonna have a match play tournament with 8 teams. So you don't get to play a lot of match play in college unless you go to the NCAA finals. Right. So I put it in the roster of our schedule to try to get some. It fires up your imagination to play a different format, and everybody plays match play primarily. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. After that, the following week we go to Penn State, to Rutherford. Bryson's going to go to defend. It's his biggest win so far to win at Penn State. Great field, and then we beat 9 Penn State players in a golf course. That's saying something. And then after that, we have a little time off. Then we go to the A10s in Orlando.
How challenging is the conference going to be? How good is the A10 conference this year in golf?
Well, the A10 conference that we compete in is really nothing like the A10 conference of the old days. We have 5 Southern schools: GW, George Mason, Richmond, Davidson, VCU. When they added Davidson and VCU, and that's big time stuff. Both those teams in the top 100 in the NCAA. And both at one point both in the top 56 or 57. So that's tough for us. But 2 of the last 4 years we played the final group on the final day. My theory is we use the fall to find out who we are. And then once we find out who we are, we use the spring to get ready for the A10s. We've had 2 players in the last 5 years be tied for the lead or in the lead in the final 18. No one expects that sort of stuff. We were in 2nd place for a long time on the final day before we really struggled down the stretch a couple of years ago when Christopher was here, Christopher and Cora. So we work through the schedule to try to get better and better, be ready for the competition, and we go down there and put the tee in the ground, and we're not afraid of anybody.
2 more things, then we'll do another plug for the Devon Quigley thing, and we'll let you move on with your day. This year, I thought it was cool you guys brought back Brandon Gillis as an assistant coach. What has that been like? I mean, how's your relationship changed with him now? He's an assistant coach. Has it changed? What has that been like to have him back kind of in the fold in a different role? Obviously, he's not playing anymore, but what's that been like having him back in the fold?
It's been shockingly good. I have tremendous faith in Brand, and you and I have talked about it a lot through this forum and others. Brand's like a son to me. We've been through a lot together. He had hit a few balls, didn't get to the fairway in life, and we worked through it, but he's great courage in facing problems he's had. And a year ago, when he was thinking about coming back for an extra year, I told him I wouldn't talk about that until we had a discussion about the next 5 or 10 years of his life. And what he thought was to be 15 minutes discussion turned into 3 hours, and we hatched this idea. He wants to be a college coach. I'm shocked, quite honestly, at how well he's taken to it so quickly. I told him that he should go there and act as a coach on day one, not as a former player, and he's really run with it. He's made a few mistakes, but I made more. Kind of still wish he was playing for us, but can't do that. But his future is limitless in golf. He is literally a swing whisperer. Brandon can look at any swing from Tigers to 5-year-old young boy, young girls just starting out, and find a way to help them. He just sees things that other people don't see. And he's great on the golf course with the guys. Now we have 2 people on the golf course that can talk to the guys out there. And because he played at such a high level, what he says has tremendous impact to the guys. And because we had 2 freshmen in the lineup, that was helpful. And so through the fall, he spent most of his time with Bryson, Geronimo, and Aiden because they knew him. And I spent most of my time with the freshmen. And we're going to try to mix that up a little bit moving forward so we all get the benefit of Brandon's great knowledge and expertise.
Is there a strategy like who goes with who? It's kind of like in the Ryder Cup where you see like, you know, the captain will be with somebody and he'll send his assistants with other guys. Is there like a strategy for you guys, like who's going with who?
Yeah, well, we talked about it before every round. I put him, you know, the final 2 tournaments he spent most of his time with Bryson. You know, Bryson had a chance to win tournaments, and so we're going to give him the best shot we can. He's very comfortable with Brandon. They've played a zillion rounds of golf, and so that was a comfort level. He spent some time with Geronimo a bunch. Geronimo is immense talent, but the round can get away from him a little bit when he doesn't have a good hole. So he was good for that. We probably split time with Aiden, though he spent a lot of time with Aiden early, and he had lesser time with the freshmen. I have a theory about the freshmen because it's the fall. We can't be with every shot, so if they're not hitting it great, you want to go over there and hold their hand and say, do this, do that, or hang in there. But sometimes you just let them work it out because that's what life is. You have to work it out. And after 13 years, I know when to put me or someone else in the situation when to take them out.
And lastly, I'm just, you know, I like to ask a general big picture questions, and you're always a great person to talk to about just the state of college golf, and whether it's local or on a national level, the college landscape, college golf landscape. You know, what I mean, here, I mean, you guys are obviously having success. Brian is on the upswing. You know, Roger Williams with Eddie Kirby won, I know it's Division III, but you know, they won their conference and they're going to the NCAA tournament. The state of kind of college golf as you see it, either on a national level or on a local level, whatever
Well,
works.
locally, you know, Eddie Kirby, coach of the year in his league, they go on the NCAAs.
Yep.
Does it all right there. He's going to change Roger Williams into a place where you went to school and some people play golf, a place that people might want to go to school to play golf, and then obviously they're going to get their education, but it can start to become a destination because he's such a great teacher. Charlie Blanchard did his greatest recruiting job ever last year when he got Rick Angeli to be his assistant. So I think that's gonna make a difference for sure. We talked about us, obviously. I would bet that Brown will have varsity golf in the next 3 or 4 years. I think Providence College would love to have golf back with the Fox money they get and the success in basketball. It doesn't take a ton of money to sponsor golf. They'll have to navigate the Title IX and gender equity balance, but I really see them coming back. You know, New England golf has been devastated with schools dropping golf. At one point, Brown no Division I, Dartmouth no Division I, Providence College, Quinnipiac, Hartford has gone from Division I to Division III. Vermont, UMass, they all used to play golf in the old days, and we're down to like 10 schools in New England. I'd like to see that come back. In college golf, you know, it's interesting when they did the PGA College that allows their ranking college players to get immediate entry into PGA entities like PGA of America, which used to be the Latin Tour and the Canadian Tour.
Yeah.
That's big for college golf.
Huge.
They used to ESPN used to do a little thing on the wrap up. Now it's live through most of the tournament for NCAA golf. There's other tournaments that are popping up. Noto Gay has started his own event for juniors, but it's getting more and more coverage. And you know, there is Korn Ferry is the minor league. I'm saying that in quotes, not to diminish it, to the PGA Tour, but look at the PGA Tour and how many players didn't play in college. That's a very, very, very small number, including now more and more of the internationals played on American soil. So college golf is strong. I think we have about 325 Division I teams. I'd like to see that grow, but I'd really like to see it grow in New England.
All right, one more plug for the Devon Quigley Courage Award that you guys announced on Wednesday. Go.
We started an award, the Devon Quigley Courage Award, in honor of Devon for his indomitable spirit and the way he conducted himself when he was dealt a tough blow. Never gave up. He was a delight to be with. He made sure everyone around him was comfortable with his condition. His mom the immovable force, I call her, Charlotte. Dana talked to that young man every single day. No matter where Dana was, he talked to him. And his sister Nicole is a rock star when it comes to family. So we're honored to be honoring him. There is a Quigley family through Dana said if they'd like to make a donation in his name, Rhode Island Golf, you can get it on your website or GoRody.com. And I will simply say that any monies we raise through Devon's name will go to helping another young person have the dream. Devon did play in college, but it's not for us. It's not about the amount of the donations, it's the amount of donors. And I can't emphasize that enough.
Awesome. That's Gregg Burke, the head coach of the University of Rhode Island golf team. Coach, thanks so much for coming on, and happy holidays to you and your family. I'm sure I'll talk to you down the road. Hopefully the spring season starts as soon as possible because this cold weather sucks.
Thanks, Joe, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Absolutely. We'll be right back on the Golf Dudes podcast.